What is up, everybody? We are back for the last episode of NFL Season 2 here on Palm City Chucks. I've been saying it over and over, but it really is hard to believe that this will be our second full NFL season potting for all the Chuck heads out there. It's kind of surreal, honestly, that we've made it
Yeah.
here, and we're still loving doing it, and I'm hoping you all are watching that or enjoying it. But with that, that's enough of a little preamble. We had the Super Bowl this past
Ooh.
weekend, the biggest game in the NFL sport. And Chris and I left last week hoping for a good game. I would have to say, at least my opinion was, we did not get that. We did not get that. Seahawks pull this out 29-13, and it never really looked like the Patriots had a chance in this one.
Yeah. So true, man. I mean, they're up 19 nothing in this game late. I mean, this thing was cooked. But yeah, I mean, for a while, I guess the Pats had a chance. They were forcing Seattle to kick, they were taking their three time and time again, that kept the Pats in the game. But yeah, as far as game feel, it never felt like they were in it. I mean, they could not get the ball going offensively. And I think that's in part to Seattle having a phenomenal defense, but also just the Pats were not ready, man. They were not ready for this.
Nope.
I feel they were ill prepared. I don't know if May, just in his youth, just way too big of a moment for him. I'm not too sure, but yeah, as far as game feel, yeah, they never really had a shot here.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we were talking about May's stat line predictions last week,
Yeah.
and the raw stat line of May looks a lot better than the reality. 27 of 43,
Oh yeah.
295, 37 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Which the 2 interceptions don't look good. One of them was really not good. One of Seattle's 2
Yeah.
touchdowns on the day. But that 295 on paper doesn't look bad. But if you really break down when that happened, you realize that was some garbage yardage towards the end of the game there in the fourth quarter when Seattle realized they really had it wrapped up.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. A lot of those yardage came in garbage time when Seattle's defense was playing off.
Yep, and they got no help from the rushing game, so that didn't help. The offensive line had
No.
a terrible game. Will Campbell, in particular, was
Ugh, I
horrible
know.
out on the left tackle. Like, feel for
My
him because
ball.
people are calling for his job just because of how bad that game was, which is
That's
tough.
just crazy.
When you go 14 and
That's
3 in the
crazy.
regular season, have a pretty decent season, and then just struggle in the biggest game, obviously you're gonna hear some noise. But I think he's
Yeah.
handling it really well based on his most recent comments to the media, which is like, hey, we're on the big stage. When you have a bad game, you gotta expect to hear about it. So I expect better from myself. So I think it's fair. So I can
Oh, yeah,
appreciate a player taking it that way as well.
for sure. And it was historically bad. I mean, the amount of pressures he gave up. What was it? Freaking like 12 or something crazy?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
horrible.
man. But yeah, really bad performance. But yeah, all in all, rookie lineman, good season. I think he had a fine season. I think the future's bright there. But yeah, tough way to end. Tough way to end the year. And in the biggest game, that's that's just brutal. I'm feeling for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And looking at the other side of the ball, we had Darnold, 19 of 38, 200, 1 touchdown. Nothing special, which is a big
No.
credit to Christian Gonzalez. He made a lot of really excellent plays in that New
You
England
bastard.
secondary. I'm
I
sorry,
was
did I
ready to
steal your
shout this
thunder?
man
Yeah.
out. You
Yeah.
did. I was ready because he was by far the most enjoyable Patriot to watch in the Super Bowl. I mean, he made a lot of really, really nice plays. 3 pass defense or defended there. He had a few that I mean, he was close to just straight up jumping. But yeah, he was a bright spot for the Patriots for sure, and there really weren't many. Um, Take it to the offensive side of the ball. I mean, where's Diggs, man? Diggs with only 3 targets in this game. All 3 are catches, but only 37 yards and really no impact. They didn't even find a way to get him the ball in garbage time when Seattle was playing a little softer. Really rough. I mean, Mac Hollins was the guy.
Mac
That's
Hollins
that's pretty
was the guy.
alarming. It's a little alarming,
I mean, here's
but
the
I
question.
mean,
Do you think that that was scheme or Diggs wasn't getting open? I honestly didn't have enough time to really review that piece, but I don't know what do you gather from that?
I think honestly a lot of it was May was broken. I think mentally he was totally broken, and the pressure was just relentless. So even when it wasn't there, he was so quick to get rid of the ball, dump it off to one of his running backs, or just scramble for any yardage he could get. I mean, he led the Pats in rushing with 37 yards. And yeah, on that note, to dumping it off, I mean, we saw Ramondre Stevenson with 5 catches and Travion Henderson with 3. So I mean, that's pretty hefty amount of dumping the ball off when you're down a lot in a big game. Could have used some bigger plays. And the guy getting these big plays for them was Mac Hollins. And those were the 2 best throws I saw Drake May throw. I mean, the one deep over the middle to Hollins was really nice, really good ball. And then the touchdown to Hollins, another really good pass. But those were very scarce in this game. We mentioned it. We dove into our predictions of completion percentage, and we both did kind of lowball these guys, and they both did worse than we thought. I mean, we were expecting around 55, maybe 60, especially for Darnold, and yeah, I mean Darnold's at 50%, and May, yeah,
May
a
was at
little bit better than that,
63.
but
He was at 63, which is I said 60. But again, if you really break it down into garbage time versus not, he probably was closer to the 55, 60
yes,
range.
yes. And
So,
on that note, you look at these stats like Demario Douglas ends up being like the second best receiver for the Pats in this game, and that was all garbage time. I mean, he was irrelevant in this game, and he ends the day with 5 catches, 45 yards on 7 targets. And like I said, I mean, it was all garbage time. And like you mentioned earlier with May's yardage, same deal. I mean, all the completion percentage, the yardage, and the touchdowns all came when it was too late.
yep. Yep. So swinging back to the Seahawks here, Walker, 27
Oh yeah,
rushes for 135, does not score. Couple grabs, doesn't score that way either. Still wins MVP. I'll swing back to that. We'll have a little deeper MVP discussion in a bit. Um, Great game from him. He looked really, really excellent. Seattle defense, we already complimented, a very big reason. Like if a side of the ball could get MVP, it probably goes to the defense if you ask me.
100%.
But obviously, we
I
know that's
agree.
not how the award works. It does go to an individual player. And then we had Jason Myers, who deserves his
Yeah.
own little shout out here, going 5 of 5
Oh
for
yeah.
field goals, 2 of 2 on extra points. He himself responsible for 17 of the 29 points that Seattle put on the board.
Yeah. Yeah. And also totally flew under the radar, but he made a great tackle on special teams. He freaking lit the dude up along the sideline, getting him out of bounds. Love seeing the kicker get involved that way. And yeah, just a kick so clean, 5 for 5 on a big stage like this. Awesome. But just a
Super Bowl
great
record.
game for Seattle. And playing it safe. I mean, he had a long of 41 yards, and these were good conditions. So Seattle to just play the game this way was so smart, and they were not scared to take the 3. They knew what kind of defense they had and knew they could take care of the Pats that way. So just took the points when they were there, and yeah, it really paid off.
Makes me sad yet again that the Patriots were the AFC representative in this Super Bowl.
Yeah,
If you can't tell me if the Bills or the Jags are here, this is not a more entertaining game. Damn
for
first
sure.
round matchup. So terrible, but is what it is. Bills still had their chances and blew it. So we don't need to rehash that, but still just makes me pine for a better game since it really was just Seattle was winning this from the get-go. Patriots
Oh
didn't
yeah,
really ever have a chance once things started to get rolling here. But let's swing back to that MVP conversation. So top 3 candidates probably were Darnold as quarterback, just always going to be in the conversation.
for
Walker,
sure.
um, We talked about the game that he had, but doesn't score. And then Jason Myers, 5 of 5, 2 extra points, and you said a special teams tackle here. Walker gets it. Do you think that was the right decision?
Definitely. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I'm definitely not going Darnold here. Really, and good job by Darnold. This is what you need to do when, and it's very rare you're in a position like this in a Super Bowl. You should be playing the best. It should be best on best. This should be, the end all be all. Best team wins. But the moral of the story is the Pats are not that. Like they
Mhm.
got here, and credit to them for doing so, but Seattle was far and away the better team, and I like the way Darnold played that. I mean, we talked about it how there could be some mistakes, and I would argue there were, but he didn't make any crucial errors. I mean, the mistakes were missing Shaheed for a touchdown, missing JSN up the seam for a touchdown, like big plays, but not really hurting your team, like giving the Patriots amazing field position or like Drake May did throwing a pick six. So he deserves some credit for that. Um, but yeah, to me, it was really Walker or Myers. And I would have been fine either way, but I really think Walker deserved this. I mean, whenever they needed anything to get going, they went to him, and for the most part, he got it done. Pretty consistent, not many yards or not many carries for a loss or any bad plays. I mean, it was always solid, and a lot of credit to the O line too, because some of these runs, I mean, I could average 5 yards a clip.
Yeah, that Seattle line was cooking. For me
Yeah,
personally, I agree mostly with what you said there. Walker probably the most deserving given the impact of the running back position versus kicker position. But I would not have been upset at all and crying that Walker deserved it if Myers did get it. I mean, like I just said, the man was responsible for 17 of the 29
yep,
points on the board. And a special teams tackle is not nothing when it comes to the kicker. When you're getting value add with tackles from a kicker too,
for sure.
that's pretty impressive. So I would not have hated, and honestly, it would have been kind of cool if a kicker won MVP. Like that would have just
Oh
been
yeah.
hilarious,
Yeah.
honestly.
And
But
honestly, cool for a running back to win it. Like
yeah, it
either
is.
way, it was gonna be really cool. I mean, running backs, like you said, quarterbacks always in the mix here. Oftentimes they're getting it, especially when it's up against a player like Walker who doesn't actually score a touchdown. So it was really cool for him to get it anyway. His impact was still made, even though he did not put points on the board.
Yeah, and given how Walker's career has gone, being forced into time split and injuries, and finally getting to really shine in these playoffs, it is just a nice little cherry on top for him that I think he
Yeah.
deserves based on the talent that he's got to really prove that he can be that guy. I'm curious what that
Yeah.
means for running back tandem next year. To be honest, because I
Yeah.
think Kenneth Walker has laid a claim for, hey, I love you, Zach, but it's my show now, brother. Take a seat on the pine, dude. So,
Yeah, and we've all been begging for it for a long time, even going back to last year, even
yeah,
when, Charbonnet had a better year last year, but this year especially, it was kind of excruciating to see, the carry split the way they were between those two. Um, did you see the little story involving Kenneth Walker's dad?
oh yes, that he hadn't ever come to a game before because he doesn't like big
Yeah,
crowds, but he came to this one.
yeah.
So that was, I
I thought that
agree,
was really cool. And apparently
very
they got a
cool.
mic on the guy too.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, what a dramatic shift there from being scared of crowds or whatever it is to, going to the Super Bowl with a mic on. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool moment too. Um, but under the radar, Seattle player that I think had a major impact here was AJ Barner. I mean, he had a
Yep.
phenomenal game.
And he scored
Only
the
four
lone
catches, but
offensive
on
touchdown. Yeah.
yeah, yep. 4 catches on 4 targets, with Darnold, who, as we went over, only 50% completion percentage, was struggling, but found a safety net in Barner, and he was making plays. I mean, got 54 yards with those 4 grabs, and as you mentioned, the touchdown. So, yeah, great game from him. It was nice to see Cooper Kupp, contribute too. 6 for 61 there on 12 attempts. You could see there's a little bit of the rough completion percentage there, but nice to see Cup get another ring too. I kind of like that he
Yeah.
Snuck it to the Rams in a way. Really quality player, all-timer for the Rams, and they let him go to a rival, and yeah, this is what you get. Really
It
cool.
is. It is what you get. I definitely don't disagree. I think for Demarcus Lawrence, really cool that he got to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
like, I got to go somewhere where I could possibly win a Super Bowl, and actually goes and wins the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool.
Yep.
JSN
Yeah.
having a rough game. I don't hate that. Ohio State are failing to show up in the biggest of games, so that's pretty exciting for me. So I
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
appreciated that.
I
I
was cool with that too, and just to see the awesome plays from Gonzo. I mean,
oh yeah.
that was a fun battle.
Yep. And I do want to swing back to the halftime showing a bit, but I kind of want to finish up the football talk first with what do you think this means for both of these teams' future? For the Seahawks, does this mean they're a annual contender now with this current setup? Was this a bit of a bright spot? Kind of same thing with the Patriots. We saw that they weren't quite ready. Did their easy strength of schedule actually have a major impact into them making it this far? Do they continue to improve and become an actually good team that could compete in a Super Bowl? What are your thoughts on both these teams' futures?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly different for these teams. I mean, I think Seattle is in contention next year. I also feel like the NFC's gonna be a powerhouse again. Like I think there's a lot of teams that are gonna make moves, and if not, there's gonna be even more next year than there were this year. I don't see too many teams falling off that were in the mix, and I see some, entering the mix there. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna be one of the top dogs. You have a defense like that, they're a young team, and yeah, bottom of the line, though, really comes down to health. Like, you gotta be healthy, you gotta have a little bit of luck in the NFL to get it done. And speaking of luck, Patriots had it because, as we mentioned, they didn't really necessarily belong here. I think they're a quality team. I think they play better than they are, much due to Vrabel and just the system in place there in New England. But yeah, I don't think they're in the Super Bowl next year. Like, that would really surprise me. I think they're on the right path, though. I think this was really cool and very good experience for this young team, but this was kind of fluky. I don't see this happening again, but it could happen in a few years down the road, and it's going to be really nice that, Drake May particularly had all this experience in the postseason.
Yeah, experience could be nice, but I agree on both fronts. Seattle's defense is just so good, and Sam Darnold signed a 3-year deal, and if he's able
Yeah.
to connect with the wide receivers there enough, and Kenneth Walker continues to flourish, this defense continues playing well, they could absolutely be in contention this year. And I agree with you on the Patriots. I think they overperformed what they really are, making it to this Super Bowl, got through the playoffs, pretty lucky with the matchups there. CJ Stroud, maybe the worst playoff performance I've ever personally seen. They play a Bo Nix-less Broncos team. Chargers,
Yeah.
they get classic playoff Herbo and just a really hurt Chargers team in general. So it continued even into the playoffs here in terms of the matchups, and then they ran into a true powerhouse in the Seahawks. And I mean, we saw what happened. One thing that's you
Yeah.
said teams coming back into the mix. Lions, hopefully they come back into the mix. And what's really annoying is that the Lions manhandled this Seahawks team when they played them earlier this year. So that's just really stupid. Love
Yeah, I
that.
love that.
One of the three teams that was able to beat them this year, and it wasn't like particularly close. So they put up 42 points on this Seattle defense. So it's really awesome, but hopefully that means good things for next year. Give a little confidence boost to the boys, and we'll see where that goes. Kubiak, getting introduced as the Raiders head coach now, which has been pretty
Yeah.
interesting. He's had a ton of interviews so far, which to be expected since his appointment was delayed due to his team, playing in the Super Bowl. But biggest thing there so far is he seems to be talking with Max Crosby, who seemed like he wanted out, but I've got a
Yeah.
feeling he's gonna stay in Vegas. I've got a
Yeah.
feeling.
Seems like a Miles Garrett thing all over again.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. And who knows? I mean, it's definitely a guy I would move if I'm them, but I mean, you're gonna get a haul. You better get a haul. He is one of the best edge rushers in the league, so we know the value there. So I could see it happening, but yeah, I think it's more likely nothing happens and he suits up as a Raider again.
Yeah, I think Kubiak's just got to go in there, evaluate his team, and give a realistic set of expectations. And if those aren't making the playoffs in year one, you should probably move them. So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll see. We'll see what they do. Kind of curious. Then swinging back to this halftime show, what were your thoughts on this halftime show?
Well, I only knew one of the songs, so I was in the dark for most of it. But I will say, I really and they did this last year too, with Kendrick Lamar. But I like how they're kind of like telling a story as they're doing the show. I think that's really cool, and good for the culture. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I think we've definitely seen a lot worse as the Super Bowl halftime show. But yeah, not knowing the songs kind of sucks a little bit, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was certainly entertaining.
Yeah. I thought that the production was really cool. The cameras following in the little thing that they set up and had a ton of
Oh yeah.
celebs like Pedro Pascal and all those various names in there, some really big names in the crowd there while he was doing the halftime show. So I thought the production was really cool. It was very fun to watch on television. I will give him that, but I didn't like the actual show itself. So that wasn't great, but I agree there has been much worse that we've
Yeah.
seen at the Super Bowl. So all in all, I think it went over a little better than I expected. It was just a really cool thing to watch. I think one thing that's really just getting tough about the Super Bowl is they got to lighten up on what they're limiting in terms of these commercials, man, because Super Bowl commercials used to be the absolute best.
Yeah.
Now they're just kind of mediocre, you know?
Oh, they're mid, dude. They really are. I feel like the last few years we get like two or three that make me laugh or I actually enjoy. But yeah, for the most part it's really dumb. And like it's just name grabs, but like the
Yep.
actual writing of these commercials like not good. It's just, "Oh my gosh, look who it is." But yeah, beyond that it's not good. It's really not.
Yeah, I think my favorite one this year was actually a wholesome one. It was early in the game. That was that Lay's one, where the daughter and the father were talking. That's was as I get older, I realize as a kid I probably would have found that commercial stupid, but as I get older and appreciate life a little more, I'm like,
Oh, for
dang,
sure.
that was pretty wholesome.
Yeah.
I kind of like
Oh
that
yeah.
commercial. It's nice.
Dude, I enjoyed the wholesome ones more than any of the other ones because the comedic ones weren't comedic.
Well, that's
So,
what that's kind of my point too. Like they're just censoring what these commercials are allowed to be in terms of funny ones so much anymore. Like back in the day, they could
yeah.
truly be funny and raunchy and
Oh, yeah.
testy. That is not
Yeah.
allowed today, which is
And the
unfortunate because you'd get a good laugh, man.
Oh, yeah. And the element of surprise is dwindling away too. Like you kind of know which of these star actors are going to be in these ads and it kind of takes away from the surprise factor and it kind of adds hype to it. So you raise the expectation and then you finally see that ad with those stars and you're like, "Oh, that's it?" But yeah,
And
not a fan of the commercials this year, or as you mentioned, honestly, the last few years, there's very few really good ones.
which is crazy because a 30-second slot this year costed $8 million for every 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Yeah. Oh,
Absolute
it's
ridiculous.
insane, dude. They were talking about that because the halftime show performers, what they get paid compared to like if they were to actually do a concert, I mean, it's peanuts. They don't get paid much at all. But when you factor in the value of the time, like, and just the eyes that the Super Bowl, generates, it's insane. They said like the amount of the halftime show, if you factor that into the commercials and how much that would cost, it's like 291 million dollars. Like
Yep.
that's your payment right there. And they talked about it too, like referencing last year's and Kendrick Lamar, like just the amount of revenue they create from streaming the next day or the next week. Like it's insane how much money it produces. So yeah, I totally see why these stars are willing to do the halftime show for peanuts.
Oh yeah. I mean, to my understanding, the actual performers themselves do it for free because of all those things that you said there. Like I think the
Yeah. Oh,
people
a
that
lot
come
have.
and
No,
dance, yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, a lot have. Now they do get paid, but like I said, it's nothing compared to what their, typical concert would be. But yeah, that's why it's the exposure and, all the revenue they're going to generate from all these people streaming the songs after the fact.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Did you see Puka's tweet during the game? He tried to
Yeah.
clown Sam Darnold. It's like,
What are
dude,
we doing?
you can't do
What are we
that.
doing?
You
He just
cannot do
beat
that.
your ass.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And had an excellent game doing
Hate
so.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I just hate it. And like, don't troll him. And it's like a division rival. Like, there's so many reasons not to have done that. It makes no sense to me. And yeah, that's two of them. And then a third being your ex buddy Cooper Cup, man. Like, have enough respect for him even to just keep your mouth shut. But also just think before you act and you realize it's dumb. I
Yeah, like
think a
let's
lot of
remember
people
here.
should be doing that a little more.
Like let's remember here, Puka, you were not on the Rams Super Bowl team. So Sam Darnold now has more rings than you, brother. So I think
Right.
it's best sometimes you keep your mouth shut.
Oh
So
yeah.
I thought that was just really ironic. And some of the Seattle's players then came to Sam's defense and responded to it as like, "Aren't you sitting on your couch, bum?" And I was like, "Yeah, you deserved that one, my guy. You did that to yourself." Uh,
I gotta ask, and I don't want to get this too hot and heated, but what were your thoughts on Jalen Hurts being a part of the Super Bowl legends,
get
the
out of
only
here.
current player
Get out of
being
here.
a part of it?
Get out of here. I mean, he played well in the Super Bowl, but like let's be real. He doesn't hold a candle to those other players in that picture. So it was annoying. And there's a reason that
Yeah.
I can't remember if it was Steve Young or whoever it was, low key cropped out Jalen Hurts. So
Oh,
that's
what? Like they reposted and cropped?
yes. Yeah, like
Oh,
the
that's
actual
funny.
picture
I
has
didn't see
Jalen in
that.
it and like it was cropped. There's like half of Jalen is gone. Like they made sure that full
Wow.
Jalen was not in there. So I thought that was
Yeah,
kind of hilarious. What's your
that
opinion?
is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I think it's weird to have a current player involved in this period. I mean, when we're talking legends, like I'm thinking not only Super Bowl legends, but Hall of Famers, like
Yeah.
just the creme de la creme. And what Hurts has done in the Super Bowl is nothing short of amazing. I mean, he's two of the top 10 best quarterback performances in the Super Bowl. Two of them are his. Like, that's remarkable. And hopefully there's more down the road. But yeah, I didn't like any current player being there. I felt a little okay about it because he's a bird. But yeah, I thought that was a little odd. I kind of wanted it to be true legends of the game, like old heads, not current players.
That's just the NFL classic attention grab. They know it'll spark conversation having him in the picture. It's a
Yeah.
business after all, man.
Oh, we're letting them win. We got to
Yeah.
stop talking about it.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. We're feeding into it. Uh, but you got anything else, sir? I think that wraps it up for me.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, got to shout out one last player for the Pats. I feel bad. They really did perform well. And ex Bird, Milton Williams, two tackles for loss and a sack. One of the few Patriots who actually did something. So shout out to him. But yeah, just kind of overall recap, upset with the outcome of this game. Wasn't too enjoyable to watch. Um, the one bright spot of this was it was expected. Like, and I think that helped a lot. Like in comparison to the Patriots Rams Super Bowl a few
Yeah.
years ago, that was just complete poop. That had potential to be really fun or a banger. I mean, that Rams team in particular, the offense of that team was phenomenal all regular season and into the postseason. And yeah, they just don't show up in the Super Bowl. That was traumatic. But yeah, this one, I think us just kind of knowing this could happen, probably will happen, it helped a little bit. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm happy. I did want Seattle to win. So that makes me feel better. I'm happy for Darnold. Screw you, Vikings. We told you from the start you were gonna pooch
The,
this if you
the,
let Darnold walk,
the
and
Viking
here we are.
subreddit is in a meltdown, man. They are in an absolute meltdown over this. I won't
Oh, I'm
lie.
sure
I'd
that's
like to
entertainment.
I like to read some subreddits these days for my sports teams, Liverpool, Lions, and sometimes I'll just scan the rivals to get their current mood. And oh, the Vikings are just in an absolute meltdown. One legendary post I read was like, oh, this is just like the ex-girlfriend that you broke up with, and she went on to marry some super rich doctor and is doing super well and getting everything she wants, and you meet up later in life and you're like, oh, I really loved you, but it was just never gonna work out between us. And I was just like, that is hilarious. They took the time to write like a 5 paragraph
Yeah.
essay about that. And I'm like, yeah, you
Somebody
guys are
check on this fan.
yeah.
Somebody check on this fan. Faux show. But yeah, I mean, it's accurate. You hate to see a guy like that go. And honestly, a guy pretty much everyone roots for. I mean, rough start to his career early on, saw the potential, saw glimpses even with Carolina. Like there was something there. You just had to unlock it. And, Kevin O'Connell did that. The Vikings did that. And just to let him walk, go to a new boyfriend, if you will, and yeah, pop off with the Seahawks.
And pretty hilarious that Sam Darnold, I think, is the first of the 2018 quarterback draft class to win a Super Bowl. Not Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen, not Baker Mayfield, Sam freaking Darnold. I love that.
I'll take it.
Yeah,
That's all right. I just wish Josh Allen was in this game still.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But I think that's really fun. And honestly, props to Sam, man. He fought through so much in his career so far to get to this point,
Oh yeah.
continue to believe in himself.
Oh yeah.
That's a really
Yeah,
awesome
he
thing to
silenced a
see.
lot of haters. I mean, even us, like me specifically, like I was shitting on him after last year, just seeing that collapse when the lights were the brightest. And here he is when they literally are the brightest, and he gets the job done. As we mentioned, nothing too spectacular, played it a little safe,
No
still had some
mistakes.
mistakes along the way, but nothing crucial, nothing detrimental to the team. So yeah, props to him, props to the Seahawks. I love it. Don't love how, juiced up this NFC is, though. Little scared. But yeah, we'll save that for the off season. We got all off season to talk about my fears for next year.
That's true. All right, everybody. This wraps up officially NFL season 2 on Palm City
Woo!
Chucks. Appreciate and love you all, Chuck heads that continue to listen in. It is always a pleasure. We did miss our first episode of the all-time rankings this past weekend. Had some things come up. We're trying to get used to the new schedule here, kind of still figuring it out as we get into the off season. But we will be picking that up this week for you, along with much more off-season content. We will be back with you later this week.
Better be CC!